Pi Network is about to explode, and here's why you need to pay attention right now. While everyone's panicking about the $0.4488 price, I've discovered 4 massive catalysts that could send Pi soaring 500 to 1,000% in the next 12 months. You know what? Major exchanges are quietly preparing, the ecosystem is about to go live, and the technical patterns are screaming, buy! Stop scrolling, this is the most important Pi Network video you'll watch this year. Follow my Telegram and Facebook pages in the description below for exclusive updates, because what I'm about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about Pi's future. You know, while weak hands are selling at these bottom prices, smart pioneers are loading up for what could be the biggest wealth transfer in Pi Network's history. I'm talking about life-changing money here, the kind of gains that turn thousands into millions when everyone else gave up too early. Catalyst 1, exchange listings. Let's get real about exchange listings for a second. You know, Pi is currently on MEXC, OKX, and Gate, and while that's decent, we're still missing the absolute giants Binance, Coinbase, Kraken. Now here's my honest take on this. The delay isn't necessarily a bad thing. In my experience, when major exchanges finally list a token after this much anticipation, the impact is absolutely explosive. I've seen tokens do 300 to 500% gains in mere hours after a Binance listing announcement. But here's what really gets me excited. Pi Network has over 50 million users worldwide. Think about that for a second. When these major exchanges finally open the floodgates, we're not talking about your typical altcoin pump. We're talking about massive, sustained buying pressure from people who've been waiting years to easily trade their Pi. You know, I genuinely believe that the longer these exchanges wait, the more spectacular the eventual surge will be. The exchanges know this too, they're just waiting for the right regulatory clarity, and when that happens, boom! My prediction? When the first Tier 1 exchange announces Pi listing, we'll see an immediate 200 to 400% pump, followed by sustained growth as other exchanges rush to follow suit. The FOMO will be absolutely insane, and early holders will be laughing all the way to the bank. Catalyst 2, ecosystem growth. Now this is where I get really passionate, because ecosystem growth is what separates legitimate projects from flash-in-the-pan tokens. You know, critics love calling Pi a ghost chain, but honestly, that criticism is becoming more outdated by the day. The Pi AI Studio launch was brilliant. Positioning Pi as the go-to platform for AI development is absolutely genius timing with the AI boom we're seeing everywhere. Here's my take on where Pi Network is heading. They're not just building another crypto token, they're building an entire digital economy. Pi domains, Pi ad network, these aren't just random projects, they're building blocks of a comprehensive ecosystem. But you know what really excites me? The untapped potential in gaming and e-commerce. Imagine when major game developers start integrating Pi for in-game purchases, or when e-commerce platforms adopt Pi for seamless transactions. The key insight here is that Pi Network is playing the long game. While other projects are focused on short-term price pumps, Pi is building sustainable utility. In my opinion, once we see just 2 or 3 major applications go live on mainstream app stores using Pi for transactions, we'll witness a fundamental shift in how people perceive this token. The transition from speculation to utility is when real wealth is created in crypto. Catalyst 3, decentralization. This catalyst is absolutely crucial, and honestly it's the one that keeps me most optimistic about Pi's future. You know, the centralization concerns are valid. The Pi Foundation holding 90 billion tokens is a legitimate issue that's kept many institutional investors away. But here's what most people don't understand. The Pi core team is actively working toward decentralization, and when it happens, it's going to be a watershed moment. My view on this is pretty straightforward. Decentralization isn't just about appeasing critics. It's about unlocking Pi's true potential. When the community gets voting rights on crucial decisions like token burns, we're looking at a complete paradigm shift. Imagine if the community votes to burn 50% of those foundation tokens. The impact on scarcity would be absolutely phenomenal. You know, I've seen what token burns can do to prices, and with Pi's massive supply, even a moderate burn could send prices soaring. But here's the kicker. A third-party audit by a reputable firm like CertiK or Consensus would instantly legitimize Pi in the eyes of institutional investors. In my experience, when institutions finally feel comfortable entering a market, the price discovery process is absolutely explosive. We're talking about potential 10x or 20x moves when that psychological barrier is removed. Catalyst 4, technical analysis. Okay, let me put on my technical analyst hat for a moment because the charts are telling an incredibly bullish story that most people are completely missing. You know, Pi has formed a textbook double bottom pattern at $0.4087. And for those who understand technical analysis, this is one of the most reliable bullish reversal patterns you can find. I've been trading for years, and I can tell you that when these patterns play out correctly, the results are often spectacular. But here's what really gets my attention: the falling wedge pattern that's been forming. In my experience, falling wedges are among the most powerful bullish reversal patterns, especially when they occur after extended downtrends. The fact that Pi is forming a strong technical pattern while hovering near all-time lows is ideal from a risk-reward standpoint. This could be one of those rare moments where technicals, fundamentals, and sentiment align for a major move. If the current patterns hold, Pi could break above $1 in the next 6-12 months. Volume suggests smart money is quietly accumulating, which usually signals confidence in a coming rally. On top of that, market psychology adds another layer. Declining interest and fading hope around Pi network are actually bullish indicators. In crypto, the best opportunities often show up when most people have already given up. This is classic contrarian investing 101. Think about it. When Bitcoin was at $3,000 in 2020, everyone thought crypto was dead. When Ethereum was at $80, people were calling it a failed experiment. The pattern is always the same. Maximum pessimism coincides with maximum opportunity. Right now, Pi Network is experiencing that exact same dynamic. And honestly, I couldn't be more excited. The psychology here is perfect. Weak hands are selling, true believers are accumulating, and the market is setting up for one of those legendary reversals that create generational wealth. You know, I've seen this movie before, and the ending is always the same. Patient investors who held through the darkness are the ones who benefit most when the tide turns. Look, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I can't guarantee when these catalysts will trigger, but I can tell you that the setup is absolutely incredible. You know, in my years of analyzing crypto projects, I've rarely seen such a perfect storm of positive catalysts aligning for a single token. Exchange listings, ecosystem growth, decentralization, technical breakouts, and contrarian psychology all pointing in the same direction. The question you need to ask yourself is this: are you going to be one of those people who gave up right before the breakthrough, or are you going to be one of the pioneers who held strong and reaped the rewards? In my opinion, Pi Network is at that critical inflection point where everything is about to change, and the next 6-12 months are going to be absolutely crucial. If this analysis resonated with you, smash that like button. It genuinely helps more pioneers discover this content. Drop a comment below, and let me know which catalyst you think will trigger first. And don't forget to subscribe, because I'll be covering every major development in Pi Network's journey to mainstream adoption. You know, the crypto world is full of opportunities, but the biggest ones always come disguised as problems. Right now, Pi Network looks like a problem to most people, but to those of us who can see the bigger picture, it looks like the opportunity of a lifetime. Stay strong, stay informed, and remember, fortune favors the patient pioneer.